My dear brothers and sisters, in the course of these days, we have been hearing so-called questions asked by authorities to Jesus directly, so as to trap him. You cannot just get his opinion, but also to trap him. Today we heard about a scribe, a lawyer, coming to ask him a question, a very pertinent question. But to understand that question and answer of Jesus, we need to go back into Jewish history. Moses, or God, gave the Jews just 10 commandments, which we have today too. But the Jewish authorities, the scribes, the lawyers, all those literary people try to understand this into a deeper level. They want to interpret each and every one of them, try to give so-called practical connotations or advice to people. And they want so far as to, in a way, from the 10 commandments, they made about 613 so-called commandments or precepts. 613. You can imagine how hard it was for a simple Jew to follow these so-called 613 commandments. And out of these, 365 were so-called do's, what they had to do. They had to pray, they had to fast, they had to give alms, and so on. Every Jew had to do that. The remaining 248 were don'ts, what they could not do. You could not kill, you could not steal, you could not covet neighbor's wife, you could not work on a Sunday, you could not even lift somebody fallen down on a Sabbath day, and so on. So life became very, very unbearable for the Jews. And the question is, which is the first commandment out of all these so-called 613 commandments or precepts or laws which they had to follow? An answer of Jesus is very simple. He looks at God and asks at two levels, the horizontal level and the vertical level. So there's only one commandment, though it got two faces, so to say. And he quotes the scriptures, not what is the scriptures which they were quite well aware of. From the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 4. The second part is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 18, where it combines both this. Love God and love your neighbor as you love yourself. It is difficult to love somebody who we cannot see. God is a spirit. So I cannot say I love you and love you and love you unless I show that love in a practical way. Because God is in each one of us. We are His image and likeness. So unless we love, truly love, our kith and kin and everyone around us sincerely, I can't say I love God. St. John tells us in his letter, if somebody comes to you for help and says, go your way, your wish will be done, but does nothing practical, then it says you are a liar, you are not from God. St. Paul tells us quietly, he says, the faith and works, both are required. If you say, I have works, I have no faith, then you say you are a liar. I have faith, I have no works, it says you are a liar. So both go hand in hand, faith and works. So if I love God, I have to love my neighbor, which is not an easy thing, especially if I have a neighbor who is nagging all the time, maybe regarding a boundary dispute, regarding a path dispute, a compound wall, whatever you call it. We may have kith and kin, our own brothers, sisters who are fighting for properties and they put cases in the court against us. Difficult. But Jesus tells us, which is very true, you cannot say you love me unless you love my brothers and sisters. There's a small little story which says that Guruji told, go out and tell, you must have heard this, how do you know that the day has dawned and the night has ended? There were many answers given by his disciples, which were not happy. And the Guru told them, when you look out in the morning, when you get up, or when you see a brother or sister, says somebody, if you don't see the face of God in that person, it says, for you it is still night. The day may have dawned, it may be evening, but for you it is still night. So let us try to see God's face in our neighbor, however bad or good that neighbor may be. Because in every one of us, there's some goodness. It's very bad, but some goodness is there. We cannot be totally bad. Because God's image is in us. Let's try and see if we can see His face and love His face and respond to His face and needs in our neighbor.